Isn't that right? Fasting during the month of Ramadan, that you learn self-restraint, self-control, self-discipline. Isn't that right? If you want to be good in sports, you've got to train for it. If you want to be good in business, you've got to train for it. If you want to have a good family life, you've got to work at it. It's not accidental. Isn't that right? You see a happy family, so they're a happy family. They just got lucky, don't they? They have to work at it. Isn't that right? Because sometimes the wife says something the husband don't want to hear. So when he hears it, you got to be able to practice patience and draw the best out. Isn't that right? Sometimes the kids do something you don't like. Isn't that right? You got to say, now, I was the same age. What was I doing when I was 12? Because, you know, when we get older, we get perfect. I never was like that. I always did what my parents told me. Of course, we forget, you know what I mean? But anyway, you got to remember, wait a minute, I was going through that change. Now, how can I help my child better? You see what I mean? How can I help them grow more? And miss some of the things that I've been, make it easier, make it more speedier, more progressive. So you got to work at it, isn't that right? You got to work at family. You got to work at your job. You sure got to work at Islamic movement. My beloved brothers and sisters, if you don't drag me out, I'll talk all day. So I'm going to leave you, but I want to say one thing that we always said, and we said it before, is about hope. We should always have hope. High expectation of ourselves and others, and hope. And I will close with this last story. I might have mentioned it last time, but they did another study. University of Pennsylvania, and it was on hope, but they did it with rats, and I'll tell you what they did. They took 12 rats, all the same kind, because they think we like rats anyway. You know, those people in the West, they think everything, psychology, sociology, they study the rat. Then they think we're going to do the same thing as a rat. That's what they think. Anyway, so they took these 12 rats, same size, same weight, same age and everything. And they separated them into two groups, 6 apiece. And they took these 6 rats, the first 6, and they put them in a tank of water. They swam around for 52 minutes on the average, and then they drowned. They took the other 6 rats, same age, same kind, they put them in the tank of water. 47 minutes, they took them out. Dried them off, rested them up, and fed them. Then they put them back in the water. They swam around for 37 hours before they gave up. The same kind.
and of a long time to talk to you about the
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
now remember that
Dear brothers and sisters, I wanted everyone to see that
it has to be a full size.
that program was a great program, probably the best in South Africa, creating a new global civilization of Islam. This is in 1996, and this was April 5th to April 7th. Now, Dr. Khalid Siddiqui passed away on April 18th. I came back, myself and Sister Bahia came back to the U.S. We left the Johannesburg airport on April the 16th. And before we was leaving, Dr. Khalid Siddiqui got in the car. And Brother Adam was driving. It was something like yellow Benz or something. Not that I remember all that stuff. But Dr. Khalid Siddiqui got in. I didn't know why he was driving to the airport with us. But it took about almost an hour to get there. And all the way, he was continuing that type of dialogue. What he was doing was, since he had heart trouble and the doctor told him, if you go to South Africa, you won't come back alive. And so he must have known that he was getting ready to pass it. In this conference, if you look at Dr. Siddiqui's whole speech right here, right in the middle of the speech, he's going to stop for a second, turn pure white almost, and then he's going to get his composure back, and you can hear the audience, like and it looked like he was going to pass away then, but he caught himself, Allah held him. Anyway, on the way to the airport, he's telling me what he wants me to do. Basically, he's handing me the mantle. Now remember, he's the developer of Majlis Ashura Islamiyya Free Britannica. That is the Muslim Parliament of Great Britain. Dr. Khalid Siddiqui produced a great product. That was the high point of his life. The Muslim Parliament is was a non-territorial government. Since the UK, like America and other places, have a lot of Muslims, Dr. Khalid Siddiqui produced a parliamentary structure for the Muslims, that they would control their own affairs. This is the greatest model for the Western world. It's called a non-territorial government. You can control your affairs, your halal foods, your other programs. You can even have Islamic media type things. You just don't control the government. That's why it's called a non-territorial government. And he conversed with scholars. They couldn't produce certain things. We have to have a zakat fund to help the people of Bosnia. The ulama couldn't come up with that. He came up with it. And they all agreed, this is great. So he developed this non-territorial government is or was the great model for us to have in the West. Definitely futuristic thinking. And the way this happened was, I want to talk a little bit about, you could tell that Dr. Khalid Siddiqui and I had a certain relationship. This is the way the relationship would work. Now, we had many big conferences, London, South Africa, Canada. Everybody there mostly were either imams or they would be like scholars, professors, intellectuals. Everybody was intellectuals. We're the only one out of them all that our ground was in Islamic movement. We studied and practiced Islamic movement. So my job at all the conferences, and Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui held conferences all over the world. Okay, I had a special job. We had a team. All these people are basically on a team. It was a bigger team than this, but this was for that conference. My job was just what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui is saying. Because if you listen to my lecture is about the future of South Africa. And I'm bringing in the whole history, our history in America, the history of movements in Africa, which none of them, we happen to be involved in them. That's just the way it went. We know the history of, y'all remember Idi Amin in Uganda. And he got rid of most of the Indians, or we call Asians, in Uganda. Kenya would have liked to have done the same, and I live next door in Tanzania. The Indians controlled 95% of the businesses. Okay? And they have a serious arrogance and hatred toward the African, and the African feel the same way about them. That's why Idi Amin kicked them out. Everybody would have liked to kick them out. But now the Indians or Asians in East Africa, all of them live together voluntarily in an upper middle class neighborhood for Africa. They have all the Western facilities. And the Sikhs, the Aga Khanis, Sunni, Shias, every kind of concoction of Indian you can think of lives in the community, and they get along fine. But the attitude toward black people, one Indian lady went to down near the New Africa Hotel in downtown Dar es Salaam, and she was going to burn herself alive because her daughter was going to marry an African. That was the attitude. Okay. When I went to South Africa, I was so happy because the Indians in South Africa were not like that at all. They were like, since apartheid oppressed everybody, now they had similarities. They had stores, shops, and you will find the most BMWs and Mercedes-Benz, big ones, that you'll find at Jumas, at prayer time, anywhere in the world will be in South Africa right now. Because they do pretty well materially. But in the anti-apartheid movement, the Indians were mostly the lawyers. They gave money. You know, if you see anything about South Africa and the anti-apartheid movement, you'll see Indians mixed in. If it's in exile, you see Joe Slovo and those guys, you know. Ahmed Kathrada, if you see the movies about him, Ahmed Kathrada was Mandela's highest consular advisor, you know, after the revolution. He just died. In fact, he just died a few months ago, I think, if I'm correct. But, so now, my job, since all the people were intellectuals, and I used to have fun with it, because say, like if we in London in '88, and we had this big conference, and so Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui would always pull me aside
Now we're counting on you. And I would say, Doc, just take it easy. I got it covered. No, but this is big. This is important. You got to draw it all together. I said, Doc, how long have I been doing this? This is important, and I'm telling you, I said, Doc, would you please leave me alone? I got it covered. I mean, we were really, because see, all about colonialism in India, I could walk and talk, we walk and talk, and he was, other people just letting that knowledge float away. But the reason we're so exact on India and all that today, because these guys are from India. They was during the partition when they moved to Pakistan. And the reason that they started the Muslim organization in 1972 or 73 in London, because they call it the Pakistani Institute at first. Because these guys were so broken-hearted when the war between East Pakistan and West Pakistan, or Pakistan and Bangladesh, happened, that to them it was like half of the country being separated, and they really were sad about it. Anyway, so they started the Pakistani Institute. Later they called it the Muslim Institute. But anyway, now I want to get back to what Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui was saying and what happened. If there are thousands of people in this conference and everybody there hears what he says about me, right? Why that as soon as he dies, everybody else that's running things are trying to exclude me? And why did the Muslim Parliament in Great Britain, Ghayasuddin, Zafar Bangash, and all of them, I'm saying they destroyed it. And the only person that felt the same way that I did was a professor at the University of Edinburgh, Dr. Yaqub Zaki. Yaqub Zaki was so upset. In '97, we was in Cape Town, and we was walking along the waterfront, and he was, this is a year after this, he was so upset, and he was loud talking, because I was walking near them with another brother. We're together, but we're just walking to and to. He's talking so loud about what's happened with Crescent and what's happened with the Muslim Parliament. But he didn't have the power to do anything about it. I agreed with him 100%, but I didn't say nothing. You know why? Because it was too complicated, and I already saw one thing, that those people are all on the same team. Why? I had to think about this. Why, if all of a sudden, when I'm invited to, we have a program in South Africa, because you got to imagine, we done caught on fire in South Africa. Everybody's enjoying those programs. And so, every time we go back, they're trying to sideline me. But I'm telling them what we need to do. First of all, you could tell in this lecture that this is 2 years, almost exactly 2 years after apartheid. Now, in this lecture, I was telling, in another lecture, and another part is when I'm a commentator, you know, not giving a speech, but I'm a commentator, the DJ, you know. So I'm telling everybody, ANC had promised 5,000 new homes, 5 million new homes for South Africans. You see the shacks they live in, they still live in those shacks. Yeah. Okay. And I said, no, they ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. Then I gave them the solution to the problem. What we have to do, that's what this whole lecture that I'm giving, it's relatively short, maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, but I'm telling the South Africans the challenges and the obstacles that they have to overcome. And that's why, if you remember the last part, I say that Africa, if it's done right, could become an Islamic continent. And before that, I said, what we have to do is Islam should move from the south to the north, not from the north to the south. You know, Sudan, Tunisia, and all of that coming on down. Believe it or not, Southern Sudan and this problem with Sudan, you know where it come from? Is Islam was spreading from Sudan to the south, right next door in Kenya. The British assaulted it with Christianity at the bottom. And that's why the Southern Sudanese are Christians, because they wanted to stop the flow. Because a few years ago, I don't want to get all straight off in history, y'all heard of the Mahdi in the Sudan? 1885, he defeated the British. Yeah, at Khartoum, the movie Khartoum, Charles Test. Yeah. Okay. The British came back and they defeated the Sudanese later because they studied what they did wrong. Then they came back with Maxim guns, machine guns, in the late 1880s, so you know what that did out on the desert. People on horses with white robes, it decimated them. But then they shot the Christian missionaries under the bottom of the Sudan, right? Well, they were animists and others, they were Muslims, and turned them all into Christians to stop the flow. We've studied all that. So our mission was, South Africa, you're free. You have the most potential of any liberated African country in history. But there's something going along with you. You are African. And the party that's going to take over, the ANC, is also African. There's another point that you don't believe, but the Western world is going to assault you. And by that time, I told them, after 2 years, at first we traveled all over, we didn't know what the assault would be. Guess what it was? It was drugs. It was drugs, and I don't know if you've heard about it. They have been very, very, very successful. That's why this program right here, a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, in South Africa, you would think I was running for president. They had posters all around because they remembered. And this group, Raouf, you know, and you know IPC and Crescent, that's Ahmed Didat's group in Durban. They do a lot of good dawah, but they do it from their style. Okay. You would think I was running for president of South Africa. They got these type of posters, you know. It's because they need help. With what? The West had hit them with drugs. Now, we lost a few years before that. We lost a lot of our rich friends. You know why? Because of Paget. Have y'all ever heard of Paget? People against gangsters and drugs. Okay, they were from Cape Town, and they were coloreds. Coloreds. Some of them look Indians, some of them look Malay. And they're coloreds. They're a mixture of all kind of people in there, Negroid, yellowish, Asian looking. You know, that's what Cape Town is. It's a big San Francisco. and the nicest people, I believe, and the most revolutionaries in Cape Town. But in Cape Town, the way they dealt with the new drug problem, since apartheid is just over, they would come with hundreds of people marching. They'd have AK-47s, because this is right after the rebellion, so everybody had weapons. They'd go to a drug dealer's house and say, okay, you got to stop dealing drugs. And they did it sooner. Then they'd go away. They'd shout things and they'd come back again. It's the second warning. Then after that, they would move on them. And they would move on the government collaborators. Because remember, the old apartheid government is collaborating to make sure the new government does not work. And they have a lot of things going for them. First of all, you got Negroes who are going to run the show. What do Negroes traditionally do? They're good out in the bush. I mean, camaraderie, friendship, just like here. In the 60s, the brothers, they was fighting for truth and justice. But when one of them became a mayor or the police chief or somebody, hey, it's all over for you. Hey, bro, what's going on? I ain't your brother. What you talking about, brother? We got to make the system work. We're working within the system. Now, you know the story of Africa and liberation. There were no success stories, post-colonial success stories, except Botswana. And I'll get into that later. But that was a miracle. That was a happenstance. So they hit them with drugs. And they hit them with AIDS. Okay, so when I realized this, I helped start this Raouf refocus and stuff. Let me see what Raouf is. Raouf is refocus and upliftment of foundation. Raouf. They have the best drug treatment program. So when we got to working on it, I told them, well, I'll tell you what I know about it. And the main thing is, throughout all the booklets on the Western drug treatment programs, and you have to start it. So Raouf, the last time I was there, I went to a lot of centers. They have centers that they've opened. You live there, and they use Sufism more than spiritualism, you know, for their drug treatment programs. And it works. They use Islam, but it's a more spiritual aspect than it is. They don't give you no methadone and all that and try to, no. You stay there, it's dhikr, it's prayer, it's salat, it's physical fitness, it's all over. And it works. So they wanted me to come back. They talked to the rich guys and they say, hey, would you invite Imam Musa over and we want to go? I went all over South Africa. This is 2013. And I was telling them about what they was really up against now. And I told them what they did to us with drugs, and I told them what they're doing to them with drugs. And basically I told them that drugs killed the movement in African America, and drugs have destroyed South Africa. And I had told you years ago that you have only one choice. You have to buckle down, you have to grow. I told them, Indians, you have to reach up